Hi everyone, welcome back to She's Crafty Paperworks. If you're new here, I'm Jen, and today we're focusing on achromatic card making, also known as colorless card making. Now most of us think of black and white designs when we hear colorless. But did you know that it also includes all those beautiful shades of gray in between? In this video, I'll walk you through 3 key design considerations for creating achromatic cards and share plenty of examples and helpful tips to make your colorless cards pop. So let's get started. Okay, let's use these 2 cards to introduce the 3 essential elements. And the first one is going to be on texture. Now, texture is going to add your visual interest to the card. It's done through adding depth and dimension. And this is particularly important because we don't have color to do that. So in this card, you can see that I have the texture from the Swiss Dots embossing folder, but I'm also getting texture from these layered effects, right? And the same thing goes here. I'm getting the different levels of texture because I have the die cuts, which provide a physical texture, but I also have a visual level of depth that's coming from this gray that's in the middle between the white base and the black top layer. This is breaking that up, which is going to get me to number 2, and that's contrast. Now, contrast is that play between light and dark, and it helps give us that visual representation of shapes and structures, right? So it becomes crucial in achromatic designs where color differentiation is absent. So we have to rely on those shaded elements. And this also, because contrast works similar to texture in adding that depth, I'm getting more dimension from these layers. Now, the third rule is composition. Now, composition is based off of balance and harmony. With this card right here, I'm creating a very balanced look by relying on contrast. And I'm doing that with high contrast of white, black, white, black. I'm also adding in glossy cardstock, which is going to help provide some more shadows and highlights. And that creates a visual hierarchy, right? So it's bringing your eye forward to that center, okay? And you'll see that that center is a very balanced, harmonious composition. Now, with this one, it may seem like what you want to do is put this in the center. The problem with that is it can be less dynamic, and when we think about techniques like the rule of thirds, with this being the top third, the middle third, and the bottom third, then moving this up to be at that intersection between the upper third and middle third, I've actually created a more dynamic composition than if I were to put it directly in the center. So what I'm doing is, because I don't have that color to do that, I'm going to rely on something that is more dynamic and interesting to create that harmony in the card. And I still have the balanced feel because I have the plaid that is going all through it. Okay, so again, texture, contrast, composition. Okay, for this card, I have relied most heavily on the elements of contrast, and I've done that through having the different layers of gray, which is helping to create much more depth because I have essentially shadows and highlights that are playing off of that black and white. So I'm getting your eye to move to the focal point through this depth, but I'm also creating some texture with the different layers that I'm using. This is a stacked, heavily stacked. I think I'm on 3 layers of Nina with that. And then I have the texture of the embellishments. That's more minimal, but the composition is, I believe, the most important element of this card. And the composition that I relied on was first putting this off to the center a little bit, and that's so that I could play up the white space. And sometimes what we don't include in card making, particularly when it comes to colorless card making, is more important than what we do include. And this case, I have 3 sides of contrast or white space. And that white space is playing an important role because it's emphasizing that large focal point. Now, this card has all the things, and if I get up close here, you'll see that I have an embossing folder in the back. This is a script font. And then I have the layers of peonies, and this is the lovely layers from Honeybee, and it's known for having lots of stacked elements, and so there is tons of dimension just coming from the layers, but there's also dimension coming from the ink blending that I did to separate each of those layers, just to provide a little bit more distinction. And the contrast that I'm getting from not just the black and white in the peonies, but also from the splatter effect. The splatter effect is actually bringing a lot of consistency and cohesiveness to this card. So in this card, I'm playing up composition, specifically that idea of white space. In this one, I'm playing up texture, and that texture is coming from all of the different levels that are stacked on this card. This card is very tactile. There's lots of dimension coming from that, lots of depth. In this card, I'm downplaying the contrast. And this leads to a softer card because one of the complaints that black and white card making tends to have is that it's too stark or too cold. And I wanted to highlight that you can bring softness by downplaying some of that contrast. So you notice here, I don't have a lot of blacks. I just have it in the thinks. This doesn't mean that I'm absent of contrast. I still have the contrast from the shadows and the highlights that I have brought in through the stencil. But at the same time, I'm also playing up the softness by not bringing in a lot of high contrast between the blacks and the white. I also did this by using silver foil instead of black foil for the press plate. Another way that you can warm up your cards if you think black and white card making is too stark or even too formal is you can bring in warm shades of gray. Now, this card right here, I have some grayscale printed paper, pattern paper, and I'm bringing in my layers to introduce that contrast. I'm not at full contrast because instead of using white, I'm using a light gray. So this is a warmer approach using warmer grays versus this one, which is a cooler approach. And one thing that you can do is cheat a little. And with achromatic card making, silver technically isn't a gray, but it can act as one. And in that regard, you can get that shine and contrast because black and white pair very well with silver. And in this one, I just have black and silver. And you could see that it still provides a lot of those elements that I am creating with the grayscale. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. And if you found any of these tips helpful, I would appreciate giving the thumbs up. It definitely tells YouTube to send this out to other card makers. And I would also like to apologize for being MIA for the last couple weeks. I think that there's going to be some continued disruptions with the channel for the rest of the month. My son was in a car accident and he's had surgeries and he's going to have a couple more or at least one more. And so it's just been difficult with work and kind of trying to balance everything. So I don't know when my next video will be. I'm hoping for next weekend. I am getting the Spellbinder small and large die of the month coming in today. So maybe I'll be able to get some cards done throughout the week. But things are just a little bit kind of crazy right now. So I do apologize for the inconsistency in posting, and I hope to have the channel back up in regular weekly postings in the next few weeks. All right. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you as soon as I can get a video out. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.